Sound.
Speed.
Camera.
Speed.
Goodyear body armor film. Scene 1, take 1.
Action.
Hi! Everyone needs some kind of special protection at one time or another. On a hot day like today, I have what I need. Now let's see what's being done to protect your body when things get too hot for you.
Early in 1968, the Materials Laboratory at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base responded to an urgent requirement to improve air crew body armor for certain Air Force missions. The body armor must be capable of defeating threats ranging from metallic fragments to .30 caliber armor-piercing projectiles. The aircraft selected for body armor development were the HH-3 helicopter, the O-1 observation plane, the UC-123 ranch hand defoliation aircraft, and the AC-130 gunship. So, in July of 1968, a contract was awarded to the Goodyear Aerospace Corporation in Akron, Ohio, to design and fabricate body armor using the latest state-of-the-art materials. The primary missions of aircraft and crews were studied. Data was assembled on mission profiles, ballistic threats, human factors, and life support equipment. Various DoD agencies were contacted to obtain information, and an extensive survey was made of existing body armor materials and configurations. Mock-up design proceeded using Air Force standards. Mannequins in 3 basic sizes were used to arrive at the best configuration. The design gave adequate body protection while providing for mobility, comfort, and fit. At the same time, various armor materials were undergoing tests on Goodyear's Ballistic range. The materials selected had to incorporate the least possible weight and bulk in the fabrication. It was found that boron carbide ceramic backed with fiberglass would stop a .30 caliber armor-piercing bullet. A layer of ballistic nylon acts as a spall shield, suppressing the boron carbide fragments when the bullet hits the ceramic. As the bullet hits the armor, it passes through the spall shield. The ceramic is fractured, ripping off the copper jacket. The steel core is also broken and the fiberglass buckles slightly, absorbing the impact. This test sample of the armor plate has just stopped a round of .30 caliber AP. The spall shield face of the armor plate must be toward the threat to be effective. Virtually no protection is given if the bullet enters the fiberglass side of the plate. The ceramic fragments could also be lethal. The contour of the armor plate fits the body. The armor plate reversed in the carrier is uncomfortable, easily detected, and dangerous.
Don't forget, spall shield toward the threat.
The armor carriers were produced in 2 colors. Carriers with the green nylon outer covering are to be used in the HH-3, the O-1, and the UC-123 aircraft. The carriers with the blue cotton outer covering are used on the AC-130 gunships. The static-producing nylon on the green carrier could inadvertently generate an electrical pulse and detonate a round of ammo. Two basic types of carriers were developed for the air crews. A front carrier was designed for those who wear back chutes. Another style was developed for crew members that either wear no harness or wear the chest pack harness. It resembles a jacket. Both carriers were designed along a building block concept. Between the outer covering, the carrier is filled with 16 plies of ballistic nylon sewed together. This filler provides protection from fragments. Using the body armor is relatively simple. First, the survival vest is put on to pre-fit and adjust the carrier before flight. Next, the parachute harness is snapped on. In this demonstration, the individual wears a back chute. The carriers come in two sizes, medium and large. Each man selects the proper size for his body. Each carrier is delivered with a fragment protective insert. The insert remains in the carrier when only flak and fragment protection is required for the mission. If the mission threat requires .30 caliber AP protection, the armor plate is installed in the pocket. The plate is installed with a spall shield facing toward the threat. To obtain the proper fit and comfort, the carrier is put on and the crew member is seated to make strap adjustments. The final adjustments are made to obtain the most comfortable position for each individual. Leg movement should be free as possible. For crew members wearing chest pack harnesses, the jacket type carrier is used. This provides fragment protection both front and back, in addition to .30 caliber protection in front when the plate is installed. The body armor carriers use special pressure-sensitive material at various points on the carrier. A fragment protective collar is available as an accessory for protection of the neck and head areas. Another building block accessory is the groin protector. Mock-ups and prototype carriers were evaluated at various Air Force facilities. A combined team of Air Force and Goodyear Aerospace engineers and life support specialists tested the armor on HH-3 crews at Eglin Air Force Base. For this evaluation, the prototype carriers were made with a blue cotton fabric so that all selected aircraft, including the gunship, could be evaluated using one set of carriers. With the carriers already adjusted, the crew puts the armor aboard and stores it in a convenient location. Flight evaluations were made under simulated tactical conditions. For these tests, the armor plate was worn on the flights. Static tests were also conducted on the ground for engineering analysis. The pilot and co-pilot wear the front carrier, while the flight engineer and PJ use the jacket carrier. Simulating rescue pickup conditions, the flight engineer hands the pilot and co-pilot their armor before starting down. The carrier is secured by the shoulder snaps and the pressure-sensitive straps. The padded collar on the prototype front carriers was replaced with a simple neck strap. With the carrier properly adjusted, the pilot and co-pilot can perform their flight duties with minimum restrictions. The neck protector can also be snapped on to provide further protection. After passing the pilot and co-pilot their armor, the flight engineer puts on his armor, which also includes the groin protector. With the restraining harness attached, the flight engineer prepares the hoist and penetrator for the pickup. The PJ also wears the jacket carrier without the groin protector. The crew is now ready to go down for the pickup.
You want to see a fast takeoff? Watch this.
In an emergency, the armor can be quickly removed. By unsnapping a shoulder strap, the carrier slides off the opposite shoulder. and the pilot makes his emergency exit. The co-pilot sheds his armor in a similar manner. The flight engineer can also remove his armor fast and put on his chest chute in an emergency. The PJ discards his armor in the same manner to put on his chest chute for bailout. In-flight evaluation of the body armor on the HH-3s show that the crew could perform their duties without problems.
Okay, but what about the O1s?
Body armor on the O1 aircraft was evaluated at Holly Field. On this aircraft, the pilot wears the front carrier with his back chute. The observer wears the jacket carrier with the chest chute harness. With his chest chute stored behind the seat, the observer boards the plane first. The pilot enters the cockpit wearing his survival vest and chute, then puts on the front carrier. The crew on the O1 show that normal flight operations could be performed in the confined space while wearing the armor. Normally, the armor is worn throughout the entire flight. The observer is the first to leave the O1 in an emergency. He removes the armor carrier and snaps on his chest chute stored behind him and bails out. After the observer is out, the pilot unsnaps his seatbelt and armor carrier to make his jump. Body armor was then flight evaluated.
All right, let's find out what happened to the ranch hands.
Evaluation of the body armor for the ranch hands on the UC-123 aircraft was performed at Hurlburt Field. After briefing, the pilot was fitted with the body armor and took his position in the cockpit. This evaluation was also satisfactory. The pilot, co-pilot, and flight engineer crew on this aircraft all wear the jacket carrier with the fragment protective collar attached. None of the crew members on this aircraft wear a chute or harness under the carriers due to the nature of the aircraft's primary mission.
Now let's see how the gunship boys do it.
The AC-130 crews at Lockbourne Air Force Base check out the body armor on the gunships. The primary mission of this aircraft is such that it remains at a high altitude where only fragment protection is needed by the crew. However, a .30 caliber armor plate is provided for the nod operator. At the pilot station, the front carrier is worn. Armor installed around the pilot's seat protects the remaining body areas. The co-pilot also wears the front carrier. The flight duties of the pilot and co-pilot once again proved to be unrestricted while wearing the carriers. The gunship flight engineer wears the chest harness and the jacket carrier. The navigator also wears the jacket carrier. The crew wear the carriers only during the primary mission. The nod operator, sitting by an open door, is more exposed than any other crew member. For this reason, he wears a jacket carrier with a ceramic armor plate. The nod operator is also furnished a groin protector as an optional item. The AC-130 gunners can perform most of their normal duties while wearing the jacket carriers. However, when a gun malfunctions, it may be necessary to remove the carrier temporarily to service the gun. This is particularly true for larger individuals working in some of the restricted quarters around the guns. The illuminator operator wears the jacket carrier at his station, as do the radar operators in their compartment. 10 sets of armor have been produced for each type of aircraft in this program. Air crews filled out a brief questionnaire to help evaluate and further improve body armor. A word of caution about your body armor. The armor plate contains ceramic material that is susceptible to fracturing. Do not drop. Carrying handles are located at the neck opening area. Carry it there. The webbing sewed to the carrier front is not a handle. It is for attaching the mic cord. Carriers may be laundered by normal methods and allowed to dry thoroughly.
The front carrier is for those wearing the back chutes. The jacket carriers are for those wearing the chest harness or no harness at all. The grain carrier is for the crews on the HH-3s, the O-1s, and the UC-123s, while the blue carrier is for the crews on the AC-130 gunships. Well, time really flies. You know, someone once said you can't take it with you. But when it comes to body armor, I really think you should. Take care of yourself, you hear?